Hello YouTube, welcome to Sunday in the shop. I don't know what we're going to have. We are going to show you our spoon. We'll have pictures of that. A few clips of cooking spam. Give you some measurements on these real quick. That's 4x6 inch stove. This is 3.5 by 5.5. This one's a foot long, 7.5 inches tall by 7 inches wide. Total with the legs is about 14 or so. So you do the math. If it's 7.5 inches tall, about 14 inches, whatever. We don't want to go out to tape measure again. Okay, we have modified the spoon since the pictures. It was too pointy up here, which made this too sharp and thin. So we drew on a piece of paper and cut out what we thought we'd like, so then we taped it on there and redid it. This is brass, but it has some kind of silver metal in it, because you get it in the shade, and you'll see the brass color better. I don't know if it'll work if I turn out the light. No, in real life, believe me, you can see that it's light brass colored. There you go. And there's pictures of the maker's mark. And there's that little crown. See if you can tell what it says. There's a little crown there after it says sterling silver or whatever. You look and you tell what you think that trademark is. Right there, it says King Edward silver plate. And almost focused for a second. Anyway, stay tuned. Whatever you get there, because I have no idea yet. I just figured this make a good intro. A friend of mine wanted to see my stove collection. This is a 5.5 inch square that I did my spam in. There, you seen the brand name. There you go. Stay tuned. Enjoy whatever I put in here. Okay, this is the next day after I made the intro for my Sunday in the Shop video. And here's a good example of what can happen how you lose video, okay? I had a video on putting these in vinegar. I also had a video showing these tools, okay? I decided not to post that. I had a putty knife and a couple of things. I'll make separate stuff on that, okay? So then what I did when I was working on these and took them out of the vinegar and first started cleaning them up, I threw away them clips because I had them in my camera, okay? So I come outside, I check my, no, throw that stuff away. It's already been imported. Well, no, it was from a day before and I was saving them. So it can easily happen. So to fix all this mess this is what we're going to do. I have some pictures of these together, okay? This is after it was in the vinegar. Where did I sandpaper it? Here and here. You see where it's kind of shiny? See that? What I did is I wire brush them. I took my scrubby wheel. You all know what that is. It's that really abrasive looking stuff. That black wheel. I think you remember me doing something. I always call it my big scrubby wheel. Not the little ones made out of the homemade scrub pads, but the black ones. The paint stripper wheel. There you go. Now these I got to open, okay? These are way too bulky. I do not like these. I'm sorry. They're heavy. They're bulky. I don't like them. This is smaller and lighter, okay? But here's the problem. The pin was so wore out that here's this hole, okay? Let's back off a little. Not too bad, right? But then look at this one. And these are real wobbly. I mean, they wobbled. You can just imagine they wobbled. I did go in there, I cleaned these the best I could. Sometimes I get too close. See, you get up here and it doesn't want to poke. There. Well, I'm a liar. See, it's got the hog ring thing on it. That's what I call it, like hog ring pliers. We like these. The other one's got the screwdriver thing on it, which will turn more into a chisel pry bar. Because I'm not going to take a screw out with that thing. It's mine. We're just going to modify it, okay? Into some kind of whatever tool. Now, we have pictures of when we took our cutter disc. Alright. Now do this at your own risk. I used it kind of like a sander or whatever, and went in there and actually cleaned this metal up and ground it down to get rid of a lot of the pits. Okay. Then I took my drum sander, which you know what them are, these, and I have pictures of it. And you watched it and you see them pictures. And I did that X pattern, okay? Because this is going to be a working tool. This is not going to be polished. So I don't know if you can tell it. I like the pitting back here. You know, we're not too worried about it. See, Sunday in the shop we can stretch this out, which might be more enjoyable for you. Okay, what we're gonna do is, not to talk all day, is we're gonna put these together, right? And get them to fit. And there is a gap there, but there's also a gap on them in that middle piece right there. Okay. We're going to put them together. We're going to put a 1/4-inch drill, whatever drill bit fits the fastener, okay? And then we're going to weld them. We're going to weld them out here. Right there on both sides. That way, you wouldn't want to weld here, like up to my right. We want to weld out where we can cut this back apart and reshape whatever. And then we're going to drill them on the drill press, the big drill press. We'll have a picture. We're going to try to make this like a 5/16 hole or something. We do have to go find a bolt. So we have no idea what size pin it is. It was so warped. But listen. See, that's good tool steel. Hear that? Listen to that. Ain't that good stuff? I got carbide bits. But we don't know if we're going to get through that or not. So the thing is on stuff like this is don't just try drilling a hole in it. There's already a hole. We're going to try to make the hole bigger. So wish me luck on that using carbide bits. I may take a cheap titanium bit coated. You know, the ones gold plated. And all that titanium does, people, is keep the bit cool. It has nothing to do with the hardness of the bit or sharpening it. Don't listen to the people who try to sell you junk and tell you that. That just, and I do believe they do keep the bit cooler. Because it makes it more slippery, that gold coating, which is less friction, less heat. I will agree with that. Okay, what we're going to do, since we're this far, is we're going to get this set up in our jig, climb it down, we're going to get it just right, we're going to get a drill bit to fit that, we're going to weld it. So we'll be right back to do that. But I do have quite a few pictures on these that I'll look through, and I'll try to find them before they was put in the vinegar. Excuse me. It is like 9 o'clock in the morning. It is like 70 dew point, 70% humidity. It rained yesterday. It is super foggy nasty this morning. But look at that. These are out of the old shop. And it's something that probably came out of the junk somewhere. And then found them just laying around. So they were, right here is where the vinegar only came up about 1 inch. So right here is more original. So there's your original crusty. Okay, let's get to work. We talked about it enough. That way, we discussed it and showed you what we missed out on. So we're going to save this project. So I said, look for the pictures, because I have probably some good ones of how when I worked on these. And I'll put like this by the tool. I showed I use that. And I put that. You're kind of used to how I do stuff. So off to work. It's 7 minutes. We can get away with this. But we're going to zip through this. We come back. I said we'll be wanting you to look at the pictures, because we're going to have that welded. We're going to have that drilled. So you want to see the pictures of that at the drill press stuff. And then we're going to be fitting the pin in there, and we'll talk about that. So let's get to work. It's nice out here. It's only 70 degrees. It's not hot. It's supposed to hit like maybe upper 80s today. So let's get out of here. We're looking at the clock. 7.5 minutes. But it's Sunday in the shop. Plus you get to hear me ramble on. Okay, the train's almost done rumbling through. Here, let's get my fat hand out of the way. Okay, this was not exactly 3/16. It might have been like, I think it was what bit that was a 64th over, okay? Now this is supposed to be a 1/4 inch bit, but I will measure it before I drill it. I've got cheap bits, and they just shoved in the case. See that? Okay. This side had a bigger head that was hammered down, okay? I don't know if you can see in there. But that's pretty well centered. Even when you look like through the big hole. Our plan is when we are done, okay, the site is wallowed out, which is this one. See that? And I ground the most to get the head of it's the worst. I'm going to weld a pin like, say, this side. And then it's going to pivot on this side, and then I can peen it over easier. Well, remember, you got to have metal that's soft enough. A drill bit ain't going to peen over. We're going to look for a bolt. So, before we drill this, we're going to find a bolt first that's going to fit the hole that we drill. See where I spot welded that? That'll be pretty easy to clean up. They're touching good enough. So let's get in there, and like I said, look for the fixtures at the end. You'll see me at the drill press. Like I use my little clamp jig with that C-clamp in the table. That is a cool jig. And then I also, when I got it lined up, I spot welded with a bit in there. I went ahead and flipped it over and used the clamp to hold it even tighter. That's not too hot of a weld. That's C, not D. And flux core. I like this flux core wire. I keep telling you that because I have not brushed that at all. So that is the slag, and it will brush off. You don't have to chip it off like electrode rod. I know that's a fancy word, but some flux core stuff is nasty. That's not bad, is it? See, we're taking our time, but we're also learning something today. That's what I like about sitting in the shop. It's not as pushed to get the video done. Okay, let's go in there and do this. Let's go get our measuring tools. Let's find exactly what bit we want. And I hope we can drill through this, because this is hardened steel. If not, I don't know what we're going to do. We might just have to try to fit a pin in there somehow. Dremel it out so it's smooth. I guess you could sit there with a Dremel all day. I like doing this while I'm rambling on, so you can ignore me. See that? See those shots you get when you don't think about it? That's not bad. I can live with that, because this hole is not that far off if you look at it. It's wallered. It's wallered, wherever that come from. Okay, back to work. Okay, we're ready to weld that in there. Okay, then take it apart. You know, cut the welder and take it apart and finish it up. And then we'll peen that over. I don't know if we'll have to heat that or not. It wasn't real hard as steel. I do not know exactly what it was. It's not like a drill bit. It was a 1/4 inch rod I had. So I'm not even going to guess what it was. So here we go. We'll be back when this is all riveted and cleaned up, and we will be done with this. Except for some work on the handles. But we'll be done with the repair, so they're a working pair of pliers. These will come in handy. You take your gas nozzle off your MIG welder, you know, your thing you unscrew and you're going to flux core instead. Several things. We're going to modify the other ones into another tool. We're still designing that. So, okay, we'll be back. There's my friend. He's right out there in case I need him. The nitty gritty. That, and this measures in 64s. I don't think it'll focus. Nice little ruler to have. I get it out, the protractor thing off it. I think you could tell about where I bought this thing at. There we go. Okay, we're done with this. We modified a bolt out of a pair of pliers. They're a little stiff, but they'll wear in. There you go. We're done with that. And we're about done with the video. We'll add some other cooked stuff. Look for the picture of the spoon. This is brass, okay, but it's kind of silvery. In the shade, it'll look more brass colored. So look for the picture of the spoon, how bad it was. It looked like Somebody patterned on a bunch of gravel like this over and over. And then I modified it. If you look at the pictures, this kind of is pointed. Well, it was too sharp, was too thin. So, and I got pictures of where it says silver plate and everything there. So, look for that. I might add another couple little bonus video clips at the end after the pictures. So, it's worth watching through the pictures there. So, we're going to try to speed the pictures up on the spoon because there's probably a dozen of them. I just took that many. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time. Crispy golden brown. We need some potatoes to throw on here. If this don't make you hungry, something's wrong. You don't like Spam, you've never tried it this way. The only way to eat Spam is to fry it. Here's your extra tip of the day if you stayed past the picture.